Chapter 11 The Doghouse of Tentacles by Roland Smith. One of Noah Blackwood's tentacles was lying on a sleeping bag inside a shipping container deep in the cargo hold of the Kolonkoff. He had emptied the container's contents and redistributed them into other containers, then rigged the door to close the lock from the inside. In the unlikely event someone came down into the hold before they reached New Zealand. The container was a perfect hiding place. With its rank smell and noisy engines, the hold was far from comfortable, but it was better than some of the places Butch McCall had slept in during his rough life. Since sneaking aboard, he had made 2 trips up top. Once to get a couple of cases of canned pork and beans, and again to retrieve a stolen gizmo for one of Noah Blackwood's spies. He needed the gizmo to keep track of Wolf and the kids, and only people on board who might recognize him on sight. Although he doubted that even they would recognize him now, he had lost at least 50 pounds making his way back to civilization from the depths of the Congo. Normally, he would have gained the weight back quickly, but Noah had told him, "Butch, you're a shadow of my former self, and I need you to stay that way." When Butch emerged from Noah's bathroom without his mustache, Noah had explained, "You have teeth." Then Noah introduced Butch to his personal makeup artist, who finished the job with a brown wig and a pair of glasses. When Butch looked in the mirror, he barely recognized the man staring back at him. "There's nothing we do about the tattoos and muscles on such short notice," the makeup artist had said, pointing at Butch's huge biceps. "They're a dead giveaway. You'll have to wear long, baggy sleeves at all times." Butch had not seen any surveillance cameras when he was up top, but before he had left the Ark, Noah had pulled up Albert Eich's dossier on his computer. Noah's database on people was bigger than the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and he was right. Albert Eich's was ex-CIA. 20-year veteran, Noah said. Security and surveillance specialist. You'll have to be careful. He'll have cameras all over the ship, but he can't watch everyone 24/7. And got another call during your makeover. Albert Eich's only brought 2 men with him on the phone call. He left the others to guard cryptos. You know how to plan it. Butch knew exactly how to play it. During the day, he would move around when everyone else was moving around. He would hide in the crowd. His new look gave him a scholarly appearance. He had stolen a lab coat and clipboard and would play the role of research scientist. It would be easy to blend in with so many new people on board. At night, he would return to the hold and sleep in his container. Lying in the container brought back long-forgotten memories to the newly formed Butch McCall. It reminded him of the doghouse he had rigged for his pit bull, Dirk, when he was a kid. It was made out of metal septic tank. Dirk had eaten the 2 wooden doghouses Butch had built before, coming up with the tank idea. It was Dirk who had first taught Butch how to hunt. He would climb out his bedroom window, and he and Dirk would stalk neighborhood cats. The cats weren't as easy to kill as one might think, but they were no match for Dirk, and eventually Butch, who taught himself to shoot a cat in the eye with his BB rifle from 50 feet away. When Butch's parents got drunk and fought, which was often, he would sometimes sleep with Dirk in the septic tank in the backyard to get away from the violence. Dirk had terrible breath and he snored, but it was preferable to being inside the house, where worse things awaited when his parents were at each other. After a couple years of successful hunts, animal control got wind of Dirk's taste of domestic cats and euthanized him. A week later, Butch, at the age of 12, left home and joined the circus, which eventually led him to Noah Blackwood. Butch turned on the gizmo. A schematic of the entire ship appeared on the screen, along with the array of tiny colored dots representing the locations of everyone on board. The only areas of the ship not specifically identified were the laboratories, which were instead designated by simple numbers 1 through 13. Butch was certain that the dinosaur eggs or perhaps by now the hatchlings, were hidden behind one of these doors. The lab doors could only be opened with an electronic key card, and each door had a different card. He would first have to find out which lab held the eggs, then get a hold of a card to get inside. No easy task. But he had plenty of time to figure it out. There was nothing he could do with the eggs until he reached Calacora Canyon. Noah Blackwood's ship, Endangered 1 and Endangered 2, was faster and would arrive several days ahead of the Kolokov as soon as the Kolokov got to the canyon or New Zealand, whichever came first. Butch would steal the eggs, kidnap Grace, and stash them all aboard the Endangered 1 or 2 with Noah Blackwood. His other mission was to make certain that Travis Wolf and NZA failed to bring in a live giant squid. If they succeeded, he had to figure out a way to get the squid away from them. If that didn't work, he was to kill the squid. Not only would this put NZA out of business, it would also ensure Travis Wolf's financial ruin. The thought brought a smile to Butch's clean-shaven face. He was amazed at the gizmo's capabilities, and this new version was even better than the one he had taken from Marty in the Congo. He could still feel the bump on his head where Marty had hit him with a log just before taking his gizmo back, and the memory wiped the smile off his face. Noah had told him he was not to harm Grace in any way, but he had said nothing about Marty O'Hara. Butch's smile returned with the thought that tragic accidents at sea were common. He clicked on Marty's name, and a moving gray dot appeared on the screen, sandwiched by Grace's blue dot and Luther's orange dot. His smile broadened as he imagined the look of shock on their faces if he were to step out in front of them and pull off his wig. He wouldn't do that, of course. Butch was a lot of things, but he was not impulsive. Butch McCall had the patience of a spider waiting for a fly.